Dr. Aishwarya, please share your experience with us.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think I also got in through Samir sir actually, the same way.
Mhm.
I think I joined a little earlier to Harsha, so I had a little bit of a head start.
Yes,
But
only
yeah,
few days.
and yeah, like a few days head start. But again, I would totally agree with Atik sir. You don't need to have only two revisions. I had like 3 to 4 revisions,
Yes,
and
yes. Don't
it
listen
is
to
like,
Dr. Harshal.
yeah, don't listen to him. It is very crucial to have your revision. The more, the merrier. I think everyone's already given their bits of information on how they've studied, and truthfully, I agree with all of them, and I think everyone has their own ways of studying. For me, I also had the mistake of following different notes before and got a little carried away and stressed out as well. But Atik sir made it very easy, very, very easy for us. And it's funny, this is literally not an advertisement or a sponsorship, but we genuinely feel that like Atik sir has really helped us.
Thank
And
you.
the I think so. The thing is that we had a few like our work schedule wasn't really coinciding with the night sessions as well, especially. So a lot of times I would just get up the next morning and go through whatever's happened the previous day and try to see the mocks as well. I I also don't think I concentrated too much on the mocks in the beginning, which is again wrong on my part. But yeah, you should. I think mocks are the key more than anything else because that's the practice and the revision that's going to help you as well. I I think skills was a little more difficult. Sorry, the knowledge part was a little more difficult than the skills part. So you obviously need a little more time for the knowledge part while you're studying. And I think in the last 15 days, I think that was one of the questions. So in the last 15 days, I think the most important. So usually what people do is, if you're following the schedule as well, you finish off the knowledge first and then you finish off the skills. So by the end of that, you tend to forget a lot of the knowledge, which gets really tensing at the end. So especially in your last 15 days, especially the NAT videos that Sir has, which by God is one of the best things ever created. So if you can seriously just go through those videos again, even if it's like a 2x speed or even if it's just the videos that you have a doubt in, the parts that you have a doubt in, then that will make a huge difference. So I went through the whole of ANAT again in the last 15 days, which really helped.
You took 15 days
And
to finish the whole anatomy, Dr. Aishwarya?
no, as in I the whole of skill, the whole of knowledge and skills revision,
Good,
everything. But
good, good.
especially for the knowledge, I had to go through it again that time because
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean that was the time when you feel that, oh my God, I need to know everything, but at the same
Correct.
time you
Correct.
finished it pretty long ago. Other than that, so about the communication, I think more than studying communication, communication is something that you do. So the more you have the mocks, especially with Atik sir, and not just the Atik sir mocks, even if you can like how you guys have groups and how like there's always some groups of 3 or groups of 5, always trying to put mocks together. That helps a lot, especially in the end, last few days with all the communications and skills as well. I think if you have an adequate proportion of not, so what I divided it into was like morning, I would do a little knowledge, and when I would get bored, I would revise a little of the skills part in the evening. Other than that, I think it's pretty much whatever everyone else has said, same has been done. On the exam day per se, I think Harshal covered most of it. One thing I would like to add, the knowledge station is very fast, but it is only as fast as you would let it to be. So if you have a question that you're trying to remember and recall, please don't waste time. Just go pass, pass, pass. Many of the times, in fact, from my experience at least, Many times there were examiners who actually forgot that I passed a question and just gave me a mark for it, in fact. But many a times they told, okay, fine, you can get back to this question. But it should never be a point where you didn't have enough time to finish your questions, especially in the knowledge stations. That was something I felt was really important. The other thing uh, about the knowledge stations per se is your stress levels do reciprocate. So as much as possible, try to be calm, especially when you're going in. You've got that 1 minute plus 1 minute, as Harshal said before. So try to utilize that. And in between, you have some rest stations as well. Instead of thinking about the previous station, always think about, okay, what else can happen now? What other station is left? Instead, think about that possibility and or at least just clear your head. For me, I started with my knowledge and then I went for my skills. And my knowledge went pretty well. When I went to my skills station, I first started with the spine examination, which was the worst thing. Because spine examination, as many people know, is very difficult to complete. So because I couldn't complete and because I couldn't complete even the answers, in fact, it kind of messed with my head, which made me feel like every other station to go was going to be bad, but in fact, actually went well. So I think that's also something very important. About the instruments that are kept. So especially in your clinical examination station, I would say just when you go in, take a glance at the table. All your answers are there. Even if you miss out on something, it'll be right in your face. For example, like in the spine station, they had actually also kept those sharp pins that are there. So that's when I thought, okay, I'll just use that as well. It's not something that we usually do, but since I saw it there, I thought, okay, I'll use that as well. And we're not very used to using Dopplers in varicose veins also, but since it was there, everyone took it and used it. So take that as your cues as much as possible. Other than that, I mean, I think that will give you the most amount of marks, in fact. Other than that, they're all very helpful, including the patients, very friendly and very approachable. And I think if you have any doubt in between, they're very friendly and willing to help.
All right, Dr. Aishwarya. Thank you so much for your sharing. Okay, may I know your score? I don't know.
I'm still a little confused myself. I just saw the pass and got excited. 1 second, I'll just let you know.
Okay. While she is checking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for knowledge, I got 132, and for skills, I got 151.
151?
Yeah.
And you messed up in spine?
Yeah, I'm pretty shocked. So
Wow,
I think in
that's
spine they
impressive.
knew.
That's
I
impressive.
think they knew in spine that it's
Wow.
not an easy task.
Wow. That's fantastic. Excellent. Very nice. Okay,
Thank you.
so anyone wants to ask anything to Dr. Aishwarya? No
Harshal
questions?
answered all doubts.
Yeah,
Hello,
good. Dr. Albaz?
quick
Yeah.
question. Dr. Aishwarya, I need to ask that in examination station, let's suppose if we get a shoulder examination, can we perform on one and say then that I need to perform that on the other side as well due to the shortage of time?
Yes, that's completely fine, in fact. So there's a time when, for example, in my spine examination, since I couldn't complete it, after it was done and I had to answer the questions, he did ask me, is there anything else that you'd like to do? So in that point also, you can tell them if there's anything else. And I think Sor also describes it perfectly in his classes as well. Like, for example, if you're doing a joint examination, you have to say, I would like to further do a complete neurological, vascular, neurovascular examining with the upper and lower joint examinations. All that, well, all you know, that's got me more marks. So it's okay to say all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you
Especially if you
forget
don't
to
have.
do, if you forget to do anything, please mention it in your presentation, okay? So that they will
Yeah.
know that you know those stuffs, and you will have a mark for that.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else wants to
Thank
ask
you.
anything? Okay,
About this
yes,
How
Dr.
did you
one-minute
Farhan.
manage to take?
preparation.
I have
Yes,
one
Dr.
question.
Farhan. Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, sure.
If in history station, if the patient is talking too much, then how to manage that situation? And
Uh, yeah, that
if
is completely possible. Yeah.
and
And so,
did you also noted down whatever he was saying on a paper?
so I think history taking, the noting down is a very artistic thing. You need to know what to neglect and what to take in. Once you know what's important in that, then I think you'll be able to filter out what's not important. I think that will come with your practice as well. And so what I did, frankly speaking, for history to help me out was, since I was working at the same time, I kind of use it in my OPD hours as well. So I would time myself when I'm asking a patient as well. And that also was a sort of practice. In fact, even examination, I have tried to do that. It, I mean, it's a form of mock in its own way as well. So if you could do that, that's also very good, I feel. But other than that, about a talking patient, over talking patient, in fact, that is a possibility. The more nice you can be to them, the more they will appreciate you. But if it's not just the communication, it's just history, then I think you can cut them down in between and say, okay, thank you. Can you also answer this for me, please? Or in a very, very polite way. It's all right.
Okay, so were you able to summarize your history in the end if the patient is too much talkative and you could not just remember whatever he said?
So
So
yeah, so
were you
yeah.
able to summarize the finding of your history?
I noted as much as possible down on the piece of paper, and with whatever I could get, I did present it. So there was one history station where I think I missed out on ICE, in fact. Or no, sorry, I reached up till ICE, so I still had a little bit left. So I couldn't complete the summarization also. But whatever I had, I made an adequate summary of that and presented it. So at least whatever you can collect, you should try and do that. That being said, IC is a very important thing to be taken in history. So please don't miss out on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone wants to ask? Yeah, Dr. T, go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of ICE component, is it okay to combine an ARCs or do we have to space out an ARCs? This
I think you
question
can
is to
combine and ask as well.
Aishwarya.
You
That's
can
fine.
combine and ask.
Will
Yes,
it
that's
sound
completely
too
fine.
cryptic? Okay.
Not
okay.
at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Aishwarya, for sharing your thoughts and your experience with all
Thank
the
you so
future
much.
candidates. Very, very nicely done. And I'm very
Thank you so
happy,
much, sir.
very happy. Like you both, you and Dr. Harshal made it within very, very, very few days. Okay. You didn't have that much time in your hand and you guys were like confused, right? Like, could I make it or
Yes, we
not? Like,
were.
very
The
nicely done.
issue that we had was we had a bad experience and then we joined you. So when you're in between, it gets really scary. And I'm very sure a lot of people have that problem. But
Mhm.
like how everyone else has said, you have to just blindly follow our peak, sir, and everything will be fine.
No, thank you so much for that. All right. I hope, and I wish for both of you will have a very nice future. Okay. And inshallah, we will meet when I'll be in India. Okay. See you. And I know why
Yes,
you
yes,
do
for
your
sure.
work, and I'm so impressed, and I'm like, super excited as well. Very nice.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We